kickoff has been set for the 2013 UK football season opener against Western Kentucky. The two teams will face off at 7 p.m. Eastern in Nashville, Tennessee at LP Field on August 31st. Joining us tonight to talk about the game is Chad Bishop from the Bowling Green Daily News. Chad, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, great to be on. Thanks for having me.
There was a lot of talk when the spread came out for this game. UK is favored by 3. People on the UK side of things thought that it was not high enough. They should be favored by more. And, of course, fans on the Western Kentucky side said, we beat you last year. We should be the favorite. When you look at these two teams, if you had to put a spread on it, where do you think you'd put it?
You know, honestly, on paper and trying to look at things objectively, I would have to favor Western Kentucky, maybe flip it the other way around, give them a 3-point edge. It's just hard for me when you look at the depth and the talent that Western Kentucky returns, and given the fact they won in Lexington last year, and although they used a trick play in overtime to do it, they did have a 2-touchdown lead in that game. It really looks on paper that they would be the favorite, especially when you consider Kentucky's new coaching staff. Nobody's really sure how they're going to come out and how they're going to play in that opener. So it was surprising to me to see Kentucky favored, but I think odds are the SEC team usually gets the benefit of the doubt when those preseason numbers come out.
It's going to be a game, I think, for Mark Stoops. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him, partially because Bobby Petrino is now coaching at Western. That's a guy a lot of fans wanted at UK. What are the expectations for Petrino at Western? How much pressure is on him in year one, taking over a team that was pretty good the last few years?
You know, it's an interesting question. I don't know how much pressure there'll be right off the bat, but I think if he drops a couple early, that pressure may go up. I think folks under here understand that he has a lot of talent returning. He has a team that went 7-6 and went to a bowl game, and a lot of those kids are back. So the expectations are to win. I think a lot of folks also understand first-year coach, new offensive system, new way of doing things, so there may be a little bit of leeway there. With that being said, if this team starts 0-3, 0-4, I would imagine there'll be some angry Hilltopper fans, but I think most folks around here expect another bowl game, expect to win 7, 8, 9 games, compete for a Sun Belt championship, because that's what this team was doing last year and really the last 2 years, and they don't want to see a drop-off from that at all.
And the season starts with Kentucky, of course, and then followed up by a game against Tennessee. The expectations, I think, you know, like you said, SEC, you look at it in most years and you say Western Kentucky cannot hang with two teams from the SEC, but these are two vulnerable teams. Western has a good football program. How much are fans, you think, expecting or looking forward to a possible 2-0 start?
Yeah, that's why they call a fan is short for fanatical, right? There's definitely a lot of Western Kentucky folks who are looking at a 2-0 start, a 3-0 start. You know, I think realistically, if you're a Western Kentucky fan, you can hope to repeat what you did last year, beat Kentucky. You go to Knoxville, you know, try to give it your all, and if you come up short, you say that's okay. We were supposed to lose that game. Go down to South Alabama, open up conference play, and you start this season 2-1. I think that's really the best case scenario. I think 3-0 would be a dream start. You know, we talked about with Kentucky's coaching staff and folks not really knowing what to expect. I think it's kind of the same way with Tennessee. I think the difference is there the Volunteers will have a game under their belt. They'll kind of know what they're working with. And they're playing at home in front of 100,000 folks in Orange, so that'll be a little bit different. So I think if you're a WKU fan, you know, cross your fingers. Maybe they go 2-1. You come back home, open up the season after that, and I think they'll be riding high if that's the case.
The quarterback position, there's been some discussion, of course, for a couple of years now about DeMarcus Smith, who is now eligible. Can you just kind of take us through that quarterback situation, maybe the offense as a whole, and how that could look when the season opens?
Yeah, that's the big question, Mark. I mentioned a lot of returning talent for Bobby Petrino, and he does on the offensive line and in the backfield, but it all rides on the quarterback. I think folks have come to understand the game of football is really reliant on how well your quarterback plays, and they lost K'Wan Jakes, who was a senior, and although he was pretty inconsistent, was really a stable quarterback for the last 3.5 years. James Morrow has already transferred out of the program. Brandon Dowdy has stepped in, and it looks like he'll be the starter. And DeMarcus Smith is kind of the backup. We expect to see him play a little bit in some wildcat packages, you know, some single wing. I don't expect him to be a starter come the fall. But they also have a true freshman coming in and a junior college transfer who may compete for some playing time as well. So I think Western Kentucky's success is really reliant on that QB position. If Brandon Dowdy can take that by the reins and really become a leader and lead this offense like a Bobby Petrino quarterback is supposed to do, I think the sky's the limit for this team. But if he struggles and they have to go to sort of a 2-quarterback system with DeMarcus Smith, it could be a long year for the Hilltoppers.
UK Athletics Director Mitch Barnhart says Western Kentucky's not on the schedule next year or in 2015. He's open to possibly playing playing Western if the SEC stays at 8 conference games instead of going to 9. If they go to 9, there's some discussion. But do you think this is a game that still benefits Western? And from the WKU side, is this a series that you think that they would like to see continue?
Yeah, I do. I think it will always benefit Western Kentucky just from the standpoint that they'll kind of always be looked at why the case is that they're kind of the little brother or kind of the third big FBS team in the state behind Kentucky and Louisville. So I think it will always benefit them, even if they have to play those games in Nashville and trade off games in Lexington, Nashville. I just don't see the benefit from Kentucky's side. You get some backlash from the fans. Maybe from a financial standpoint, it's not really worth it. So I'm just not sure how much longer the series will continue. I will say there is some talk that maybe the Hilltoppers will start up with Louisville. I think Charlie Strong has been open up to the idea of playing the Hilltoppers in the future, and if there's some holes in the schedules, I think that could happen. But I'm just not sure Kentucky and Western will see each other on the gridiron in the immediate future. Maybe in the long term, maybe, but I don't think after this game there'll be too many games coming up in the short term.
Now, when you look at this season, obviously the expectations have been raised the last few years with what Willie Taggart has done. A new coaching staff, a lot of questions. What would you say at the end of the season, looking back, Bobby Petrino, year 1 in Western was a successful year?
Well, I think it won be a Sun Belt Conference championship, and I know that's putting the goals pretty high. But like I said, there's too much talent on this team returning, and the Sun Belt Conference is going to be a little bit soft with the departures of the teams who went to Conference USA. And the schedule overall is soft. They got some winnable home games. They always seem to play better on the road. And they were right there the last 2 years competing for a Sun Belt championship, maybe a player or two away from getting that done. And now when you bring in a coach like Bobby Petrino with his pedigree, and he's shown he can win anywhere he's been, I think he would say that if we don't win a Sun Belt Conference championship, season's been a little bit of a disappointment. Sure, they might finish second or third, go to a bowl game, get that first FBS bowl win in program history. But I think anything short of a conference championship would leave these kids with a sour taste in their mouth.
All right, Chad Bishop from the Bowling Green Daily News. Thank you so much for your time. Look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. See you.